cartoon commentary is not intended for children. Tom, Keith, and Cory are usually wrong, and anything they say can and probably will offend you. Apologies in advance. Commence the podcast.
Cartoon
commentary.
Keith, some of us have HBO Max.
Okay. I thought you were. I was going to say, I just started recording and we were about to incriminate you there. You were like, ooh, some of us don't have Disney Plus. Some of us steal everything. Like pirates. Like I pirated my car. Just like that.
Keith, did you just incriminate
Pirate's
yourself?
a car.
Well, that's. Do you remember the old warning that they used to have on like DVDs and VHS? Or no, it wasn't even VHS. I think it was mainly on DVDs where
Don't steal cars?
Pirating's a crime. Would you pirate a car? And it was just like, that sounds fucking awesome. Like, are you serious? Can I drink rum while I do that? Like,
Wait, did they really say, would you pirate a car?
something to that effect. I don't think they said. It was more like, would you steal a car? Like pirating is stealing. Would you steal a car or some bull? I took it as, would you pirate a car? Because pirates steal shit. So like, we're using the vernacular of pirating stuff as stealing stuff. So would you pirate a car? And by pirate a car, I mean, would you drive it in the ocean? Maybe. Is it my car? No. Hell yeah, I'd drive that shit in the ocean all day.
I love the Venture Brothers because there's a character called the Pirate Captain. He doesn't have a name. They just, for 7 seasons, they just refer to him as Pirate Captain. And they have him in like completely unpiratey situations, like they're in the Venture Industries or Ventec headquarters in New York, and they're checking out the lab in the basement, and he walks over, he starts rubbing the wall, and he just goes, "Ire, it will make a fine lab, right and true." And he starts rubbing the wall and patting it like it's a ship.
So is he kind of like Steve the Pirate from Dodgeball, the movie?
Well, kind of, but this guy was an actual pirate. He was an actual pirate till he ran into the Venture Brothers, and then he quit being a pirate and then started to work for them.
So he does have some like real world. It's not like
Yes.
he's like fresh off the boat pirate, just making
no.
broad
He's got-
observations about what would make a good laboratory.
He's got 10 years pirating experience, and then I think he had about 2 years experience as a, not a henchman. What do you call the equivalent of a henchman for a good guy?
An intern.
Yeah, okay, he was an intern for Jonas Venture Jr. for a couple of years, so he also helps run the business, so he's very talented, this character. So, and he's a pirate, captain.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to judge 10 years of pirating experience. Like, I feel like I've had over 10 years in the financial industry, but I've done not a single job that I've had for more than 4. So,
Wow.
like, because I keep on, like I move my way up through a department, and then I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to manage people, so now it's time to jump ship and go to the next department, like kind of lateral move, and then I move my way up a little bit more through there, and then I go, well, the next step is my manager or, director level, and I'm like, I'm not doing that, so let me just jump ship again. And I'm not jumping ship like companies, but I'm just changing like the role that I do.
Jumping ship. There's a lot of nautical theme tonight, isn't there?
We should we should definitely guide by the stars, or I don't know what I'm talking about.
I was just thinking of Master and Commander. Remember when we watched that in your basement?
Yeah, with Russell Crowe.
Yeah, and Paul Bettany.
That was actually a good movie.
Real good movie. I like that movie.
Like Russell Crowe gets a lot of shit though, but like that was a good movie.
But that was a good movie. Yeah. I genuinely, I want to watch that movie right now. How about we watch that movie instead of doing the podcast?
The last time I saw that movie was probably the time that you're referencing. So
I know. That's like the last time I saw it too. So it's holy crap. What is it like? Oh man, that's a long
20
time.
years.
Almost 20 years. Yeah.
That was at your dad's house. No, it wasn't my.
No,
Was it in my
it was your
basement?
basement. Yeah.
I thought
yeah.
we watched that at your dad's house. We might have once. No, your dad was obsessed with that movie for a little while, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe
We might
that's
have
why we
watched it
watched
there,
it,
too.
because you watched it, I think, with your dad, because your dad forced you to watch it, and then you were like,
Mm.
all right, it's a really good movie, Keith. Like, let's watch this, but like, let's watch it at your place so my dad's not there.
That sounds about right.
It sounds, yeah, that's plausible.
Yep.
But
How you doing, Cory?
I'm doing pretty good. Did we start the recording yet?
oh, we did. We started.
Yes.
recording.
Quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It was. That's the whole reason why we were talking about pirating, because I caught it right as
Keith stole a car.
no.
Oh.
Because I
That's
started
what you
it,
started
and
the
Tom,
conversation
I
with.
thought Tom was going to start talking about how he pirated this episode, and that's how he watched it. But he said HBO Max, and I was like, "Oh, well, good thing 3 seconds," because I didn't give any warning. You know, traditional Keith style here. I'm just like, okay, let me get all the offensive. Well, no, there's plenty of offensive things that I say in the podcast too. Let me get the most offensive things out of the way, and then I hit record, and then I tell you guys like 10 seconds after I hit record.
Yeah.
So like,
Just jam it in, Keith.
Yeah.
Just jam it in.
so Cory, that's the first 10 seconds of every podcast. Just siphon off, leave it a little solid state hard drive somewhere for yourself. And I'm sure at some point, if me or Tom becomes rich, you can also just get a nice living for yourself, showing us that hard drive on a weekly basis and going, you really want this? You want this to come out?
It'll just be you saying racist things and me laughing.
I like how now it's me helping Cory blackmail me and you, Tom. Like,
Yeah, I was like, where, why?
what am I doing? Is
I don't
this,
need help with that.
Is this like
I know.
I'm not even. Am I chaotic neutral against myself? I'm just like, hey, Cory, you know what'd be crazy? Is if you blackmailed me, and here's exactly how you accomplish that.
Here's all my money. I'm taking my pants off now.
Well, hey,
That's what I got out of that.
you guys are wearing pants.
Actually, no. It's too hot for pants.
What's up, Internet? Welcome to Cartoon Commentary, a podcast where three gumshoes in their 30s talk about old, new, and sometimes weird cartoons. I'm Cory, Fat Cat Zamier.
I'm Tom Zipper O'Connell.
And I'm Keith, Monterey Jack, more like Pepper Jack Barnofsky.
More like Gouda.
Nah, Pepper Jack, because I'm spicy.
I think you're pretty Gouda.
And also, I knew Cory was gonna fucking steal Fat Cat, so I didn't even bank on that shit.
So I don't know why I had two things written down, and I realized it didn't make sense because I say it first, so it's not like I need a backup.
True,
Right.
true.
I was either going with Fat Cat or Bubbles.
Bubbles is pretty good.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. So this week is Rescue Rangers. It's the 27th episode. We were literally just debating this. It's on Disney Plus as of the time of this recording. So, well, technically it was a Disney show anyway, so it should hopefully stay on Disney Plus. But I think it's actually like season 2, episode like 14.
Yeah.
But it's the 27th episode out of the 3 seasons. And it's the case of the Cola Cult. I picked it because it had to do with a cult. It's in a kid's TV show. Like, it was the concept of it. I feel like that's an interesting concept to put into a children's cartoon show. Am I wrong?
You know, you didn't even have to tell me you picked it because of a cult. I started watching it, and the first thing I thought, I'm not kidding you, is Keith totally picked this because it had a cult in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know
I
what?
mean, yeah.
As a kid, if I don't know if I saw this episode. I did watch Rescue Rangers. I was not like a religious watcher of it. I don't remember what time it was on, but like if it was on TV, I was watching it. I
Yeah.
mean, for God's sake, I had the game for NES, and I can't remember the episode as a kid, but I probably like if somebody was like, "Hey, do you want to join this cola cult?" And I was like, "What do you do?" And they're like, we just take showers and soda and sing to a commercial." I'd be like, "Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
thing. That's my jam."
I actually did see this episode, and it was when they get in that, what do they call it? I know we'll get to it, but the second vehicle they drive in the episode. As soon as I saw the plungers, I was like, "Holy crap! I remember this episode now." And then all of a sudden, everything started happening. I'm like, "Yep," and then this is gonna happen, and it happened. I was like, "Holy cow! I haven't seen this in 30 years, but I'm remembering it." It's just because I used to watch this religiously, like as a child. I used to put the Disney Channel on. We had it as
Yeah.
a kid, and I used to watch Rescue Rangers every day. And I didn't own the game, but I rented that game so many times from the store. Like anytime my parents would go to the video store, I'd beg them to rent the Rescue Rangers game.
I
'Cause
mean, I think we
it's a
all
good game.
I think we all remember the time, like when we were in our 20s playing D&D at my parents' house, and we all like then hung out in the basement and realized that I had the Rescue Rangers game, and then I played second player and Ryan played first player, and I literally on the first level I died so many times because the physics of the game are not like an arcing jump. It's like a very like brutal
well-
up down jumping motion.
And to be fair, there was a very large bottle of Jameson there.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's it slows.
That's why
your-
I didn't even try playing.
It
I
slows
just
your
sat there
reaction time.
criticizing Ryan.
So the thing is, I died like 3 times or whatever the lifespan is immediately, and then
Yeah.
Ryan was like a goddamn genius with the game, and literally.
yeah.
We just watched him. We were just like, oh, we'll just watch him until he dies. And then he played the entire game through, periodically earning enough points to bring my character back, which I think other people picked up that remote to play and then subsequently immediately died.
Yep.
And then Ryan got all the way to Fat Cat at the very end of the game and just was so close to beating him but died. And right before he died, he was like, oh, I figured out the movement,
pattern.
like the pattern of his cigar that he's holding and what you need
Yep.
to do. And then he died. And it was like,
Game over.
and at that point, it was like almost midnight or something. And
Yeah.
like, I was just like, wait,
Playing for hours.
but he just figured it out. Like,
I know.
He
I
could
was
just go and do it.
I wanted him to seriously restart and play the whole game through. Like I was so mad that I didn't see him beat that game.
What's so funny is that we never ever came back to that ever.
No.
We have hung out so many for years on a weekly
Yeah.
basis since then, and we were never, even Ryan, he was never like, hey, do you ever want to play that game? Like he did so freaking good. I feel like Ryan was just like, no. He's like I took a whole bunch of like Adderall that day, and I was just really on point, and I don't want to. That was the high point of my video game life. Like, let's just leave it
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah. You know what was great about that game? So much stuff from the TV show was actually in that game.
Yeah.
Like when we started playing it, I started seeing the stuff. I was like, wow, they really went into detail and included characters and scenes and locations and gadgets and stuff from the show. I was pretty impressed watching him play that. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So
Yep. No,
speaking
definitely.
about
So-
the show.
Yeah, let's get into the show. The show starts out obviously theme song on point.
Oh yeah.
It's like this show's from 1989. It's like got that 80s into 90s like it was like that cutting
Perfect
edge.
theme.
Yeah, it wasn't totally 80s. It was like 80s into like they were
Yes.
cutting edge on
Yep.
just the music the montage, like it's the
Yeah.
montage from the 80s, but it's almost like the music from the early 90s. It was just
Yes.
very upbeat.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and you're precisely right. There's that small window of like a handful of years there, like at the late '80s, early '90s, where all the theme songs were just freaking great for the cartoons. Like,
Yep.
look at the Ninja Turtles,
Yep, exactly.
Chip and Dale. Oh man, we were. I know we've talked. That's one of the things we point out when we watch these cartoons. We like to talk about their theme songs a little bit because, like the Pokemon theme song, I know that's a little later, like 5 years after that, but still, that was a great theme song.
It does hit the same. It hits the same
Yeah.
stride.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, I like the X-Men theme song as well.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's because that one doesn't even have words to it.
Right, it just
it's-
sounds great.
It's just music. Exactly. It's got these like riffs to it where it's like the whole time you're getting hyped. I don't know.
Exactly.
It's
You
beautiful.
get pumped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You're all
obviously,
fired
there's
up.
a lot of nostalgia in there because we all watch these things as kids. So we're just like, we hear it now and we're just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, Saturday morning cartoons. Or, I get
Uh-huh.
to eat cereal and sit in my pajamas all day. And that's exactly what I want to do as an adult.
I was actually singing along to the theme song, so yeah.
So,
Speaking of Saturday morning cartoons, did anybody ever like have like that ridiculous amount of stress as a kid? Like you'd look at the TV guide and you'd be like, "Oh man, I gotta wake up in time for X-Men. I gotta wake up in time for Spider-Man," and then you wake up and you missed it by like 30 minutes.
I did. So the thing is, I actually didn't look at the TV guide, but I do remember accidentally sleeping in and like waking up, going into the family room. Like I would immediately lay back down on the couch and cover myself with a blanket. It was like I woke up, but really I was going back to bed on the couch just to watch TV. And I remember turning the TV on, turning it to like the channel that a show was supposed to be on, and it wasn't on. I'm like, what is wrong? No. Like a Twilight Zone, just like the guy in the library that finally has time to read and he broke his glasses. Like, no. My world crumbled. And then I finally realized that I'm just like, why? And I'm like asking your mom, like, why did you let me sleep in? What? And she's like, well, you were tired. You stayed. No. You get me up for Dragon Ball. What are you doing?
I didn't. I was pretty good about getting up early, like just out of habit. As a kid, I'd get up at like 6 in the morning almost every day, so I rarely missed cartoons from oversleeping. I missed cartoons. Sunday morning cartoons, which a lot of people might be like, Sunday morning? It's Saturday morning. My big thing was watching the Nick cartoons Sunday, because that's when they played Ren and Stimpy, but that's also when my mother would send me to Sunday school. And I used to get so mad because I would always miss like part of the episode because we'd be driving home while it would start, and I'd get so mad about that. But, yeah, so I didn't have anxiety, I had rage.
Well, Tom, that's your whole life. I mean,
Yeah.
our listeners don't know you. You're a very nice guy, but deep-seated, way down deep, there's just this eternal fire burning constantly.
I am the Phoenix.
There you go. Eventually, it'll consume you, and then I don't know. You're Irish, so you'll just like turn into a potato or something, I guess.
Checks out.
Yeah, that's what happens, right?
Yeah.
So, this episode, the case of the Cola Cult, starts out actually with Gadget built the Ranger Mobile, and they are literally testing it out for the first time, which you get to know in the first few seconds of the episode.
Yep.
It's essentially a skateboard with some quasi seats for them and a hair dryer, and I assume some sort of power pack to power the hair dryer. The hair dryer is for propulsion, and that thing goes pretty quick.
Yeah. It was impressive.
That's a good hair dryer. That's a 1980s hair dryer.
That's a no safety standard hair dryer.
Yeah.
That's
So maybe
keep out of hands of kids.
Yeah,
hair
maybe
dryer.
she took like the governor off or something. Like she
Yeah.
hacked that hair dryer to go maximum capacity. So they're going all over the place. It kind of starts falling apart. They crash through a window. They end up like they crash through, the window's open. They crash through like the screen of a window, and they end up in a building. And then just to point out, Monterey Jack, which obviously that's a type of cheese, and he's a mouse, and that makes total
great
sense.
name.
And I love
Great
it.
name. Yeah.
Kind of sounds a lot like Wolverine
I knew you were going to say this.
from the X-Men. And this is, I kind of picked Rescue Rangers this week too, because I was like, wait, I'm pretty sure Monterey Jack has this like weird, over-accentuated Australian accent, and this is going to be just a great segue. This is linking those two episodes together. It's episodes about good guys and bad accents. There you go. So
Perfect. It's a theme.
So they crash in, and some mice show up. Basically, like the guard leader kind of intimidates them, and then the actual cult leader, Pop Top, shows up, and he's interesting name, right? Pop Top.
I thought he said his name was Pop Pop. And I'm like, that's so creepy. At first, I thought he was like this creepy old mouse, pedophile. Like, hi, I'm Pop Pop. Come with me, little guys. But then I realized I needed to get my hearing checked and realized Pop Top Soda. I get it.
Tom,
that's clever.
That comment just really changes Arrested Development for me, because the kids call the grandfather Pop Pop, and you just basically pegged all Pop Pops as
Pop Pop needs your hair. Pop Pop needs your hair.
Come on, Tom.
Sorry.
Stop fucking things up for me. That was a good show, and now it's just weird. I mean, it's weird enough that the cousin thing. I don't know. Different show. That's not a cartoon. We're not talking about great show. We're not talking about that though. Mm-hmm. So, Pop Top shows up, and so Gadget says they were just basically like lost, and Pop Top says, "Oh, like everyone's lost until they found the Cola Cult, and they're just in time for this ceremony." And they go into a room, and they basically play a VHS tape of a commercial for this soda, and this building is just full of this soda, and I don't know if they're still manufacturing this soda. Like, you can't tell if they're actually still manufacturing it, because that would be concerning.
I can answer that question.
Okay.
They were manufacturing that soda. The reason being, and I learned this, this Cuckoo Cola is not only in this Rescue Rangers episode, but Cuckoo Cola shows up in Darkwing Duck. And it's the same Cuckoo Cola. It's the same 3 flavors.
Really?
That's the connection, yeah. So, yeah, they're still making it because, Darkwing Duck's daughter, what's her name? She has red
don't
hair.
remember.
I'm spacing on her name. But anyhow, I remember her drinking a can of Cuckoo Cola. So, yeah.
So that's concerning, because there is a lot of mice and rats in this
Oh,
building.
yeah.
And that is coming from somebody who, before I worked in the financial industry, I worked for years in the food industry. If you have that many varmints literally bathing themselves in soda every night, you're probably not a very good and hygienic company as far as the food safety standard. So,
I mean, those mice, those vermin, plague bearers, were actually bathing in the soda. They were taking showers in the soda, like getting blasted in the face with soda.
which is crazy. Can you imagine? Like, they were not like diving into buckets of it, but they were taking like containers that had like a spigot right? And like one mouse would open the spigot and the other one would stand underneath it. Like that was just going everywhere. Can you imagine the people that showed up every morning? They were like, "Oh, fucking happened again. There's just soda everywhere. We have no fucking idea why. There's also all this mouse hair everywhere. Where is this coming from? Oh,
Be
well."
realistic, Keith. There'd be mouse shit everywhere.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. They would bathe in the soda, they'd clean themselves off, and then they would just shit everywhere, and then
Yep.
go to sleep. And
That's
that's
what mice do.
pretty much. I mean,
Oh, pretty much. That's all they do.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
eat,
how
sleep,
they
and
do.
shit. I mean, it's a primal response
Yeah.
to soda. So anyway, they play the cola commercial on the TV, and all the mice actually are super fucking into it. They're all wearing like these like monk-like kind of robes.
Cult-like?
Well, cult-like.
Yeah,
that's true.
that's-
Like, I feel like they're trying to be like monks, but they're not monks. So they're not like the monk like martial art monk, but like the monk like a typical like religious monastery monk. It's like the almost toga style robe instead of like a
Like a,
Like
they,
a
some of them
gi.
had like a Friar Tuck kind of haircut
exactly. It's
Yeah.
very like a religious base, which I know monks are probably all religious based to some extent.
too. We only think about
extent.
monks in the D&D term.
No, I only know.
Clearly,
yeah,
they're all
exactly.
martial
It's either
artists.
D&D term or like the Trappist monks that brew Belgian beer that I really like. And I'm like, there's. Oh no, I've seen some videos of monks being able to, which I assume are also the Trappist beer ones, because they can chop the top of a glass bottle off with their hands. And I'm like, well, you got those glass bottles. Those are beer bottles, man. So those are Trappist monks have bottle chopping proficiency.
You know, that would be pretty cool to see some beer making monks that also did kung fu.
I'm pretty sure they do.
That would be. I would really like to see that once
Tom's
in
like,
my
I
life.
found my fucking calling. That's it.
Yeah. I know what I'm doing with the rest of my life.
Screw this PhD.
Yep.
Moving to Belgium. I'm gonna brew beer and chop glass with my hands. I'm
These diamond hands.
gonna brew beer with my hands.
my God.
Chop glass. Diamond hands. So anyway, they all the mice dance and sing while basically drinking the cola, which, by the way, looks to be, and they reference it in the episode, orange soda and cherry soda.
And
These
grape.
are the and grape.
in
Those
the
are
song.
the three
And grape.
flavors. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, those aren't colas.
No,
those are their own flavors.
Those are Fantas. It's not. I mean, technically, who knows? Maybe Fanta's owned by the cola company, but it's. I feel like they use cola just because it was a really common terminology.
Because it sounds better to be the Cuckoo Cola cult than the
Yeah, it's the alliteration.
the fanatical Fanta
Yeah,
cult.
that's true. I mean, you couldn't be like the PP Pepsis. Like that's just gross.
The fanatical Fanta
I mean,
followers.
it would probably be more correct because all the mice would be just, peeing and pooping all over the place
That's what they do.
after drinking all that soda. So, the PB Pepsi. Anyway, so this one mouse, Myron, asked the game if they're going to take the soda shower. Sounds weird. And then
Sounds sexy, Keith.
and they're just like, okay, no.
I know.
And then they show like a rich mouse, apparently like the richest mouse in town has joined this, and he's basically handing over all of his riches, and they load it into like a Coca-Cola can, and then they winch it up into the sky, and then they drop it down into a bucket full of orange
Soda.
Fanta,
Fanta.
and then when they pull it back up, all the riches are gone, and they basically his possessions have been fizzed. And the gang decides to promptly just go, yeah, it's not for us. See you later. And they leave. And surprisingly, unlike most cults, like, they just let them leave. They're like, oh, you saw our gig. Okay, you'll be back.
Yeah, I actually had to rewatch that part because I thought I like looked away for a second and they escaped or something, and then I was just like, oh no, they just pieced out.
Yeah.
Not only did they piece out, but Monterey Jack is like, yeah, these guys are batshit crazy. I mean, he doesn't say it word for word like that, but he more or less says it like that, out loud, for all to hear him that are around him. And they're just cool. They're just like, yeah, okay, you could come and go, whatever. We'll always be here. We're nice people. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Are cultists really that nice?
The leader, Pop Top, actually says, like, oh, you'll be welcome back anytime.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go home, and then Myron shows up at their house, and he's like, oh, we need to talk about this whole cult thing. And then Gadget has like a magnet invention, like it's like a rotating electromagnet that just goes haywire and attracts every piece of metal in like the entire vicinity. And then Myron's gone. He got scared, left, whatever.
Did you see the bottle cap, though? One of those, I noticed right when the scene was fading out, they cut, and where he was standing, I think there was like a poster or something against the wall, and there was a bottle cap that, if you notice, some of the bad guys later on actually used bottle caps like throwing stars. So Myron was followed there, and that's how they, well, we haven't gotten that far, but that's how the bad guy knew what was, he knew.
That makes a ton of sense, because I thought that he was just like, oh, wow, crazy invention, shit's flying everywhere, never mind, and he pieced out. I didn't realize there was this hidden subplot of like,
he was scared off.
They realized he was
being
about
followed.
to be, he was defecting, and they came after him.
Yeah.
That makes a whole lot of sense. Man, that lends an extra level to this episode.
I was really like, wow, they really thought this out. I thought that was pretty good for a kid's show.
No, this show was good. I'm not gonna lie.
It was, yeah.
I was actually
solid.
pretty impressed on like the cohesiveness of it, and the fact that they didn't have to
solid
like
story.
ADD jump around. But anyway, sorry.
I was just gonna say, Monterey Jack's Australian accent works.
It does. It's up front a little shocking, and it was just so in line with how Wolverine talked from Pride of the X-Men. And I was just like, oh, this is just going to be great. This is going to be...
Keith's really trying to alienate all of our Australian listeners.
No, I'm not trying to. No, because that's not a real Australian accent. Neither one of them are. They're like American people just being like, oh, dingoes, huh?
Hey, Peter Cullen is Canadian, Keith. How dare you assume his nationality?
I can't tell, actually, because Australia is so far away that if you get further away than we are, does that actually become closer to Australia? I'm pretty sure Australia is like 18-hour flight from where we are. Like, it's fucking far. Like, there's nobody in the vicinity of North America that's like, oh yeah, I go to Australia on the reg, unless you have like $1 billion. So like, none of us know. And even Crocodile Dundee is probably the most authentic Australian accent we've ever heard. And like, listen to the sentence that I just said.
You assume that like the rest of us don't get out and meet people. I know actual Australians. I have met Australians. I happen to know people from the coast have a much lighter, almost British sounding accent, but when you start moving inland,
let's do a
they
rundown.
have that outback,
Let's do a
like
rundown.
real crocodile hunter.
Let's do a rundown. All right. Number 1, they talk about dingoes. Yes or no?
Dingo check.
Yes.
They talk about babies in the same sentence as a dingo.
One of them might have, yes.
Do they ever go, crikey?
I don't think he ever said crikey.
Oh, well, god damn it, they're not a real Australian then, apparently, according to these cartoons.
Oh, I don't know. He's pretty Australian.
He's, does he have a big knife?
That's your Australian accent, Steve.
You have to say it that way. Yeah.
Big knife.
Knife. It's required. Nobody's going to get that.
I know. They're always going to wonder, why is he always saying dick so weird to Keith?
They're gonna go, why does Cory and Tom always say the word dick really strange when they're talking to Keith, not realizing that I was the one that did it first, and we're just never gonna air that.
No, it's at the end of every episode. I keep telling you.
That's true. That's true. It is. It is.
That's wonderful.
It's guys. It's really easy to pronounce. It's Deke.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you actually got it right.
Yeah, I was like, wait. That.
I'm trying to gaslight you. It's not working. Anyway, let's get back to the episode. So anyway, they take the gyro mobile, which is like, it is literally a gyro, but with like mini mouse-sized plunger suction cups on the outside of it. Like, I don't know if people know what a gyro is. Watch the fucking episode. I don't have to explain it. It's a multi-layered circle on different pivot points that has some suction cups on it and has a motor that moves it forward. And then they basically they take that back to where the Colt is, and they land. Well, they stop, I guess, and the gyro gets sabotaged by somebody. Somebody, which you just see the hand loosen the screws on it, and then somebody else, like as they're walking through like this warehouse, sets a whole bunch of glass bottles rolling towards them like an avalanche. So they have to run away, and they run back to the gyro. They get in it and they climb up the wall and get up to the ceiling. But because of that one singular loosened screw, the entire thing basically falls apart, and they're basically hanging on for dear life with one suction cup against the ceiling. So, you know, totally believable.
I believe it.
I do. I saw it. I mean, therefore it happened.
Yep.
So I get it. They're building this thing where, like, you know, Gadget didn't have a good run with the rescue mobile, or the Ranger mobile rather, and now she had a horrible ordeal with the gyro mobile, and they're hanging from the ceiling, and Zipper's there, and Monterey Jack, I'm pretty sure, is just like, Zipper, what are you so fucking scared of?
No, you gotta do it with the Australian accent.
Ah, Zipper, what are you so scared of? You can fly. And there was like Australian punk. He was just angry. I don't know. That's not. And then Zipper's like, oh shit, I can fly. So then he flies. He goes and gets, actually, this little tiny fly could grab a blanket.
This fly is jacked as hell.
Right?
This fly has opposable thumbs.
He does. That's very
That's
true.
a badass fly.
So he grabs a blanket and then, like, drags it over, so it's like still half in a box, and then he's half holding it, and then like the whole gang, when like the suction cup lets go, they fall into the blanket. Zipper gets a little bit hurt, I guess, kind of. They're worried about him. They get back to the house. They basically give him an ice cream sundae, and he is perfectly fine. And that's Zipper.
He's
Comes in-
badass.
He's not a MacGuffin, but like I feel like Zipper's there just to like be like, oh shit, how do we get out of this? I don't know. Zipper can fly, so like he helps him out. Like it's
Yeah. Yeah.
um
Well, I think they just needed to give Zipper to do, because what does Zipper do otherwise? Like the entire episode, like
he flies stuff and he grabs stuff. That's what he did. He flew around, he
Yeah.
grabbed a blanket. And,
it's his job. That's how he contributes to the team, Keith. Don't knock his role. The others solve mysteries. He grabs blankets.
I'm not knocking his role. He is a superhuman fly. He can pick up an entire
Superfly.
blanket.
Yeah.
Thing is, they solve mysteries even when there's not a mystery to solve.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like, the way this episode played out was just kind of weird to me, because it was like, we're gumshoes, we're, detectives or whatever, and it's just like, we're just living life. And it's like, whoops. I guess
Mysteries
there was a
come to
mystery
us.
here, and we didn't even realize it.
Yeah. So, Zipper, after eating his ice cream, Monterey tries to kind of like make Gadget feel a little better. He's like, "Hey, like you're doing a good job." And she's like, "No, I'm not. I'm not inventing anymore." And he's like, "Come on, do you invent a little?" The problem is
You
like
gotta
the
do it
whole
with the Australian accent.
Jesus, Keith.
What the Keith? Come on.
Come on.
you're stop acting like a dingo. Ate your baby. That's what Australians say, right? It's not. No, is it not? I don't know. Tom, you said you know Australians.
I know
Validate
Australians.
it. Validate that. Do you?
That was spot on, Keith.
When you go to okay, so when you go to consult somebody, it's like you just tell them it's not like a dingo ate your baby. Just downplay their problems. It's kind of like
go-
if you, Cory, back me up on this. You get in a fight with your wife, you just tell her you're overreacting. Calm down.
Oh, wow.
It totally solves everything, doesn't it?
I haven't tried it, but if you want to try that and let me know.
But you gotta do it with your accent.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise,
wow.
it won't work.
You overreact. I don't know how to.
You're overreacting. Settle down. Oh wow! I went a little Arnold Schwarzenegger at the end there.
You went like English.
Get
Arnold
down.
Schwarzenegger. It's
Get to the
uh,
chopper.
You have to be like, simmer down now. Just simmer down.
Who used to say that? Which cartoon character used to say that? Simmer down.
That was from.
Oh,
like,
Stick
an
Stickly.
SNL.
Stick Stickly.
Oh, he
Stickly.
did.
Yep.
God damn.
I don't know who he said it to. Am I
It was from
misremembering
SNL.
that?
No, it was
And
a-
you guys are
No,
just
you-
like, yeah.
No,
No,
there was
no.
an SNL skit where they were talking about like simmer. They did this whole Donna
gotta look this
Summers
up.
to simmer down.
Simmer down.
If we have listeners and they're listening to this, there's people that are screaming. They're screaming at our podcast right now, just going
Stick
like,
Stickly, simmer down. Let's see. I don't know. When I started typing simmer down, Stick Stickly popped up right away in the search. Lemon Demon Stick. Let's see. Oh, someone even wrote a song. Simmer down, and we'll sing.
"No, you sing that. I'm gonna go to the bathroom." It's a bathroom break. Tom's gonna serenade our
Nice
audience.
transition.
There you go. Go serenade
Yeah.
the audience to the sound of my pee.
Huh. Okay. You know what? I'll just Google who said simmer down.
Who was the first person to ever say simmer
I
down?
think it was Stick Stickly.
Let's see.
Well, that's the problem is if you Google who the first person was to say simmer down, it's not going to be Stick Stickly because he's not a person. So it came from SNL, just like I said.
But in what context? Like, who said it?
There was a skit. You guys probably can't hear this because I'm playing it. So
In your mind.
it's Nadine, Augustus, General Emergency Room, SNL. And it's basically a lady that works at like the front desk of an emergency room. And all she says to people that come in with injuries is, Simidana.
But just regular simmer down, stickly, that's one of his quotes.
Okay,
I'm
well,
going on the Wikipedia.
Oh,
like,
okay. So wait. The SNL thing was from 2013. Stick Stigley's definitely from like 1990s.
Yep.
So Stick Stigley is the originator of
Oh!
this. He's the simmer down now king.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Do we want to get back to this episode?
In fact, there's a song called Stickly that somebody wrote, like an actual band wrote it, and it uses simmer down, simmer down, simmer down in part of the chorus. That's pretty good. Well, I'm not going to sing it, though.
So anyway, following day, Monterey Jack, my favorite character for his
What's his voice sound like?
fully authentic Australian accent that I just cannot replicate because it's so goddamn good. He made breakfast, hot cream of cheese.
Yeah, we needed to point that out because when I heard that's what they're eating for breakfast, I was just like, oh, hot cream of cheese.
So think about it though. Like, I don't think it tastes bad. It would just be a horrible meal for the fact that if you go to make like macaroni and cheese, that's like the two main ingredients is like a milk product and cheese, and that's basically what he put into a pot and melted it down to like a cheese sauce.
Yeah.
They're basically just eating cheese sauce, which in and of itself, I love. It's delicious. I just don't love it by itself.
Yeah. If there was some nachos to dip with that, right on. But
even some goddamn vegetables to like, I mean, give me a couple carrot strips or something to dip it. Like, I just don't want to drink molten cheese. Like,
isn't that essentially what fondue is? Like, I've never done that. I would love to do. Keith, let's do fondue at your house.
Oh, I could do you one better, Tom.
We could do our best Monterey Jack impressions while we eat it.
Tom, I can do one better. I actually have a raclette grill.
I don't know what that is.
I was like, am I supposed to know this?
No, I was hoping one of you would, but so raclette is basically, they have various raclette cheeses, but I have a bunch in my freezer, like already cut up. The raclette grill has like these little tiny square pans that are like 2 inches by 2 inches. And you put like a 1/4-inch thick slice of cheese in it, and it's like an open toaster oven. So you slide your little tray in, and you wait until your cheese is like bubbling hot, and then what you do is you have a bunch of like accoutrements to like eat it with. You have like sweet pickles, you have sour pickles, you have like little croutons, slices of bread, French fries, like whatever you want to do. The traditional thing is to just do like boiled potatoes. And like you just basically keep on. It's kind of like fondue where it's active, where it's like you have to like put a slice in, and then you put it under the grill, and it's like you sit around the table and you talk to people, and a couple minutes later your cheese is ready, and you pour it on your plate. You eat a couple bites, and then you take another piece of cheese and you put it under the grill again, and you just like basically like rinse and repeat. It's like the kind of meal that you're eating like a couple bites every few minutes, based on the nature of the melting of the cheese. So you can sit around the table for like 2 or 3 hours, having a conversation and like eating lightly the whole time and having drinks.
That sounds sophisticated as hell.
It's very European. It's very French.
Oui.
I mean raclette. It's
See, you could do a French accent, but you can't do an Australian accent.
I can do a French accent when I say a French word. I mean, how do you say? It's very hard to say a French word not with a French accent. Like,
True.
I mean, not with somewhat of a French accent. I mean, you could be like, oui, oui. Oui, oui.
Oi, oi.
Like, yeah. But, like, I mean, if you're going to say any French word, like, Bordeaux. Like, no. Like, that's. If you have something that ends with EAUX, there's only one way to pronounce that. Doesn't give you a whole lot of. It's kind of like. I'm trying to think of the American equivalent. I don't know if there is, because American. The problem is English is part of the romantic language, but like American English is like the. I don't know.
English isn't a romantic language.
No, English
It's
is
Germanic.
not, but it. Yeah, but there's a lot of words based on romantic languages.
Oh, yes, yeah. The
So-
English, yeah, we grab words from a lot of languages. Cause,
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of like a word, but then I'm like, oh wait, no, you could say that a different way. I mean, shit, people in the South say it in a different way versus the North. So Corey's sighing because we're just getting way off fucking topic at this point. I appreciate Corey.
It always gets regional here.
Let's get him. It does. It does.
We
You know
can't
why?
not offend our southern / midwestern listeners.
I'm not saying they say things wrong. I'm just saying
I'm just
Florida
saying-
sucks.
Yeah.
Hey. For all the people from there, just know Keith still dislikes David Spade more.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're
And
not
honestly,
you're not at the bottom of the list.
Florida only sucks during the summertime. I will totally go to Disney in like February. It's the best time
Yeah.
to go to Disney. It's the lowest prices, the least amount of crowds, and it's like 65 to 70 degrees. Nothing wrong with that.
I would never live there though.
Oh no.
Just the
no.
just the anxiety of like having a child that might at some point, I don't know, be outside, and it's just like, oh, alligator or crocodile, whichever ones are down there, just like, oh,
Yeah.
just strolls by, just gonna scoop up your child, no big deal.
I mean, it is
Yeah.
it is like the funny thing. So, and granted, this is anecdotal, so it's not statistical. But like, you say that, but like, my grandparents on my father's side were snowbirds, and they would go down to Florida. They had a condo down there in the wintertime, and one of their neighbors let their it was like a Pomeranian or some small breed, let them out in the backyard, and a gator ate it.
Uh,
Yeah,
So
my grandparents, my grandfather still has a house down there in, I don't know, like Central Florida, sort of West Central Florida, and yeah, I know they've got. I remember he was playing golf, and there was a freaking gator that came on the course, and one of their neighbors said they lost a dog to a gator before. You know, they had a small dog,
damn.
so. Yeah, that's between that and I don't know if you guys are aware, there's wild monkeys in Florida.
is this like Australia 2.0
Kinda.
in terms of like stuff that'll just kill you out there?
Yeah. Well, this
Casual
this-
hurricane rolling through?
You're gonna love this because these monkeys, in a way, can kill you. So there's these wild monkeys I was reading about on online in Florida, and I guess like back in the 50s, some family had some like sideshow, like they ship monkeys in from different places around the world to get people to come as an attraction. They put these monkeys on an island, thinking the monkeys couldn't swim well. Well, they bought 3 different breeds of monkeys. Turns out one of them are exceptional swimmers. And so these monkeys the next day already escaped the island, and I think there's like estimated to be hundreds of wild monkeys in Florida in certain parts. I saw some YouTube clips like this gas station with the car just trying to pull in, and there's like a swarm of monkeys in his way. I was like, no way! In the United States, there's actual monkeys. There are, and
Wait.
it gets even better. They carry a very contagious STD that's harmful to humans, and
Wow.
they could give it to them
Like-
like through contact.
Like a hepatitis or
Via
something.
poop throw?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember if it was hepatitis or herpes. It's one of the. It was one of the H ones. I'm pretty sure.
Well, Tom, that's pretty fucking significant because it's
Yeah,
hepatitis,
those
herpes,
H ones don't play.
or HIV. Like, I mean,
Sorry, I'm not. I don't mean to laugh at HIV. I'm like, yeah, it's sort of a big range when you say it's one of the H ones. Yeah, hemorrhoids. They'll give you hemorrhoids. That's not bad.
That's not. Nope. That's not what that is.
Nope,
That's not it.
That's a minor inconvenience compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
Some of the other ones include liver failure or death. Goddamn. So why are we on this podcast? We should all be hunting monkeys apparently in Florida. I mean,
Well, to
is it
tie it
legal?
all.
Is it legal to hunt these monkeys then? These disease-carrying
Oh, I
circus
don't know.
monkeys?
I don't know. I guess it just depends on the species. If they're endangered or something, then because I know for a fact, like in Key West, chickens and roosters are a protected species. Like it's a crime to kill a rooster or a chicken in Key West. Yeah, they're all over the place. It's part of their
imagine
culture.
It's to a monkey species that is invasive to an area that was brought in from the outside,
Yeah.
never native to that. Like, it's got to be okay to kill them, right? Like, I mean, I'm not out for just like murdering
don't-
animals, but like,
It's
Well-
herpes. I'm sorry, it's herpes. I had to look it up. It's herpes. The feral monkeys threaten Florida with lethal herpes. Oh, it's lethal herpes.
Wait.
It's a deadly form of
Jesus.
herpes.
God damn.
Yes.
they dick slap you that hard that it's lethal.
Let's see. I'm reading an article from 2020, February 2020. At least 12 feral rhesus macaw monkeys, which could be infected with a deadly form of herpes, have been spotted for the first time in northern Florida. Jesus.
Oh God,
Yeah,
they're migrating.
not
They're
going
getting
to
close
Florida.
They're getting close
Yeah.
to Georgia. No,
Yeah.
you know what? If you go to Florida, just go to Disney, stay on the resort. You know that
And
they
that's the only place.
Yeah, you know that Disney has like a black ops team that's like these monkeys, they don't get past here. Like these
Well, yeah,
monkeys
because
don't
that's probably really bad publicity if you're like,
Yeah.
hey, we brought our kid to Disney World, he got herpes and died.
yeah, that would pretty much shut down Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta wonder. Like Keith asked, if it was legal to hunt them. I'm not even wondering, if you can hunt them. I'm just wondering, what do the residents do to protect themselves? So,
Yeah.
listeners from Florida, please feel free to write in, email us, or contact us through Facebook or
Whoa.
all our other
It's gonna be
platforms.
it's gonna be so awkward when we're like
No.
legit 15 episodes deep and we have like 2 listeners, and we're like, hey, listeners from this specific state, let us know, and it's just like, oh,
Well,
no pins dropped in Florida for us. Talk too much shit about Southerners.
So let me answer it for you. You fight herpes with herpes.
Oh God,
We're supposed to give the monkeys herpes?
you counterfuck them?
I didn't really think about what you'd have to do. It was more of like a fight fire with fire, and like
So what you're saying is, scientifically, if you already have herpes, you're immune to the deadly herpes.
I have
So you like pre-indoctrinate yourself to the herpes by getting
Hmm.
herpes.
I'm
Is that
pretty.
that's
I
what you're
would,
saying?
We're talking about way too much herpes on this cartoon podcast.
I would like to believe that was how it worked, but I'm pretty sure there's multiple forms of herpes, and you could probably actually get all of them, and
You
then
know
die.
what's great about this whole sort of tangent we've went on about Florida and the monkeys and everything. I don't know if you guys realize this, but Chippendale Rescue Rangers takes place in Pensacola, Florida.
Oh wow! So if they ever come across like a monkey that can talk to them, they should probably actually avoid them.
Oh yeah. If I was Chippendale, or any of the Rescue Rangers. I would want to be Monterey Jack. I would be like, crikey, get your herpes away from me.
So
That's
back
how
on
you
the
do
It's
it.
a monkey.
back on the subject of the actual Rescue Rangers. One of the things I realized when I started watching this is I legitimately haven't watched Rescue Rangers since I was probably like 5 years old.
Yeah.
Not even a little, because I did not remember how the chipmunks talked in this.
Really?
They hit me with that with Chip's voice specific, or yeah, Chip.
Yeah.
His is like the super high pitched voice, and I was just like, whoa, what the hell? Did he like inhale helium or something? Like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
And he kept doing it for the rest of the episode. I was just like, is this real? I don't remember it this way at all. Like
I remember it that way.
Dale has at least a little bit more bass in his voice, but wow.
Yeah. Yeah, Chip is. They've definitely crudely altered the voice recording to make it higher pitch. To be like, oh, this is a chipmunk. But what's funny is you look at like Monterey Jack, who's a mouse, a hefty mouse, but still like
An Australian mouse.
Yeah, basically in the same size spectrum. And Monterey Jack has a normal fucking voice. You look at Gadget, she's a mouse. She has a normal voice. You look at Chip, and he's like the same size as them, and it's like somebody's constantly.
But he's a chipmunk.
Somebody's constantly twisting his testicles off. Like, hey guys!
Yeah, but what they're setting you up for is the Rescue Rangers cinematic universe where all chipmunks talk like that.
Oh, that's true. Because you know
This
what?
is Disney. They're long term. They
that's
were
true,
they were
yeah.
planning this way back in 1990 or whatever.
At the same time, were they playing it, or did they just make that creative choice where it's like, well, fuck, we locked ourselves in. We gotta do this high pitched voice thing for the next 40 years.
So who owns Alvin and the Chipmunks? I don't think it's Disney because I haven't seen it on Disney Plus anywhere.
That's a good question.
So I'm assuming what they did was they were just like, hey, our main characters are going to be chipmunks, but we can't make them sound too much like Alvin and the Chipmunks because if you remember Alvin and the Chipmunks, they were kind of like
Yeah.
they kind of had like that like they were definitely doing something in post to those voices. Like I don't know what technique it was, but it was definitely like a less extreme version of what they did with Chip's voice here. And I feel like they were just like, well, we can't do exactly the same thing, but let's, do something like that, because that's what chipmunks sound
Well,
like.
that did
if
come
they
out
talk.
18 years later, so it's not that
Yeah.
they didn't do the same thing. It's just that the technology was better. They
Yeah.
did. They attempted the same thing. It's just we had better technology.
I would like to point out I mentioned Peter Cullen earlier because he's the guy who voices Monterey Jack. He's also Optimus Prime's voice.
Yep.
Yeah, like I knew the
So-
name and I spaced.
so-
Like I knew he got something even bigger than this. I'm like, I know he's been in a million things. Who else is he? Yeah.
So I feel like we've had this conversation every time Peter Cullen's on the on the
we
show.
have. We have.
I think we did this during Dragon's Lair also,
And
because he was the
also-
voice of the bumbling knight that was cowardly or something that looked like Keith.
I think he also did a voice in Widget the World Watcher.
Probably. That's the
Yeah.
thing is like Peter Cullen, Frank Welker, like all
Yeah.
the Transformers people, they're in everything.
yeah. They're in
And there's also
everything, yeah.
someone who's also in everything that we haven't even talked about yet, I don't think at all on this podcast, who plays what's the guy's name? Myron. Do you know who Myron is?
Oh,
voice
I
was
looked it up earlier.
familiar.
Rob Paulson.
Yep.
Raphael from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, amongst a million other things.
Pinky from Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah,
And Yakko
like he's
from,
he's so
Yakko
many
and
different
Wacko
voices.
from Animaniacs, yeah.
He's also been I forgot what turtle he voices in the new Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that they came out with back in like oh God, like almost 10 years ago now.
Mm.
But he's been multiple Turtles. That's like the
Yeah.
main thing I recognize him as. Like, I heard that voice and I was just like, wow. Who is this? Because this is so close to something I'm used to.
Yep.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, Donatello in the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Pinky,
Mm-hmm.
Yakko,
Mm-hmm.
Carl Weezer in Jimmy Neutron. Which I don't
Mm.
even. Do you guys even know about those shows? Jimmy Neutron,
I
I
never
do.
really
Boy
watched.
Genius.
I just remember when we were much younger, like teenagers, we were able to drive. Walmart used to have Jimmy Neutron always playing on like their TV displays when I'd walk by to like look at DVDs.
Yeah,
So that was the only reason I knew a little bit about Jimmy Neutron was I happened to watch it at Walmart a few times.
yeah. That was like one of those Nickelodeon shows that was always on around when my mom used to watch other kids in the family, like my second cousins or whatever, my cousins' kids and stuff like that, and it
Mm.
was always on the TV along with SpongeBob and Fairly Odd Parents was actually a really good one, which we should do
Mm.
eventually.
I mean, so Alvin and the Chipmunks that came out later in 2007, just to wrap that up, 20th Century Fox is what released it. So
Yeah.
that
Well,
was,
when I was
that was
I
not
was
Disney.
talking about I was talking about original Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah, who owned the rights back then?
Well,
I mean, they were on Nickelodeon, uh, too. So I don't think they were Disney owned.
Because the way you said that made it sound as if like you thought Alvin and the Chipmunks were something recent.
whoa, no, I thought you were talking about the movies when.
No, no, no. I'm talking like original.
Mm.
So
Although the internet seems to be like infected with this movie. Because if you just Google Alvin and the Chipmunks, it only starts talking about the 2007 movie as if it wasn't a fucking cartoon before.
Well, so this is marketing. This is search engine optimization, SEO. Basically, once they came out with that movie, they tried to flood the internet to capture any googling of Alvin and the Chipmunks to direct it towards that movie for revenue purposes.
Yeah, it's fucking horrible. Because the original cartoon was a lot of fun.
Wait, are you talking about the original cartoon from the 60s or the cartoon from the 80s?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out now. But this new movie has fucked up the internet enough to the point where it's hard to even find anything.
It has. There's basically, damn.
It's probably the 80s one, realistically. Because
Alvin and
if
the
I was
Chipmunks.
watching it, it was probably the 80s.
So Alvin and the
Yeah.
Chipmunks
From Deke.
originally
Oh yeah, Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Originally, David Seville and the Chipmunks, or simply the Chipmunks, are an American animated virtual band created by Ross Bagdasarian for a novelty record in 1958.
Yeah, I know this isn't a Alvin and the Chipmunks episode, but a few episodes ago we were talking about like VHS tapes you own that you just watched over and over and over again. I had a VHS tape that was like a mashup of Alvin and the Chipmunks and Michael Jackson. Which sounds like the weirdest thing, but
My God,
it
that sounds
it
familiar
totally
to me.
makes sense. So you'd have like Michael Jackson singing "Beat It," and you'd have like a little bit of a voiceover from Alvin trying to sing along and stuff like that. And they'd put him in like the music video, like they'd put him over there in the music video, just like kind of like drawing him onto the music video. It was really weird.
So I just want to say this doesn't give a lot of information, but it's like it's just like a gloss over. So basically, like Ross Bagdasarian, he died in 1972, and then the characters' voices were performed by his son, Bagdasarian Jr., and then his latter wife, Janice
His what?
Carmen.
Yeah.
The latter's wife.
His wife on a ladder.
No, it's Well, because they're talking about
the
his
latter he
son,
married?
so they're saying the latter, like
Their
his
son, the stepstool.
his late wife, Janice Carmen, in the subsequent incarnations of the 1980s and 1990s, which was the TV show that we are watching now. So basically, like his son and his wife did the voiceovers instead of him in the show.
Huh.
And originally, apparently, Alvin and the Chipmunks was Ross Bagdasarian with his novelty record from 1958.
What a chipmunk rabbit hole we've gone down.
God damn.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, kudos, because there's a legacy to this, but like in 1958, some guy's going to be like, I'm going to make a record and pretend I'm chipmunks. And like, it was a goddamn hit. Like, I mean, I want to listen to this now.
So, guys, we got to re-record all of our podcasts in chipmunk voices.
No, that's all done in like post.
In post.
So
Nah, I don't know how to do that. Keith,
it's
you're gonna
easy
figure
to
it
out.
out.
do.
Corey.
You do it.
Speed it
You
up.
do it like 2x speed. And
Oh, cool. So our podcast could go from being 2 hours long to being 20 minutes long.
oh wait, we can actually hit our time limit that we want to hit. Fantastic.
Perfect.
Can you believe that
Win-win.
some of our earlier episodes were under an hour long?
That's because we didn't know what to talk about, and
Well, no.
Boring.
Back then, we actually used to talk about the episode,
oh, that's true.
which we haven't done for about 30
Yeah.
minutes now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
we
true.
could do that.
Let's get back to that. Let's get back to that right now. So the last thing we left off at was Monterey Jack, obviously everybody's favorite character, the fat guy that cooks hot cream with cheese for everybody. He did exactly
Keith
that.
identifies with him so much.
I identify with him because I'm like, shit, you're fat and you just made a bunch of cheese sauce.
Yeah, we're gonna be going over Keith's house Saturday for his cheese sauce.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that
Oh, it
sounds.
sounds so nasty, but
That
we
sounds.
are.
I mean, I was
but we're going to lap it up.
gonna. I was just gonna put cheese like on like slices of them on the burgers, but if I gotta make
No, you're
sauce
getting out
now,
your
we're gonna.
ricochet.
Well, Tom, you know what? I do
barbecue.
have a little bit of leftover smoked scamorza in the fridge.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's such a Monterey Jack kind of thing to do.
So anyway, Gadget decides to quit the Rescue Rangers, and she's basically
Yeah,
like, well,
over 2 failures.
yeah, she's like,
Yeah,
oh, 2 of my things fell apart. I
I'm
guess
useless.
she goes, I guess this is goodbye. And nobody takes it seriously. And he'll go, all right, bye. And then she like reaches the door and they're like, wait, what do you mean goodbye? Typical underreaction, overreaction. And Myron shows up. So basically they don't
Well-
want her to leave.
Well, the best part of this was she like runs down the team as like, oh, Chip, you're a great leader. Monterey Jack, you are very strong and whatever. Dale,
You're funny.
you got a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
She was just like,
you
her thing
all-
is inventing things, and if she can't do it properly, then she feels like she doesn't have a spot
I
on
know,
the team.
and that's the fucked up part. Is she was like, "Well, these are all your purposes," and she got to Dale and was like, "Ah, fuck. Well, let me make up something so that way I don't have to stay." Like, she can't be the second person with no purpose. So, like, at that point, she goes to leave. Myron shows up after he got scared away the first time. He showed up and then immediately left when Gadget's other device went haywire. So technically 3 things. 3 things went haywire. 2 things were vehicles she made. One thing was just a magnetic contraption that like rotated and accidentally attracted everything.
Okay, so 3 strikes, you're out. She deserves to
Yeah,
go.
she gave
Okay.
herself 3 strikes, and
Okay.
so Myron shows up, and then he basically just passes out, and while everybody's tending to Myron, Gadget's like, well, I'm definitely leaving now. And she just leaves. And she cries in the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then eventually she stumbles upon Pop Top, our favorite cult leader.
Hey, he's having a cultist parade in the rain.
He's he is literally actually having a parade in the rain, which is, I mean, honestly, I like Pop Top.
Well, how else are these mice gonna get all this soda out of their fur?
That's true. That's true. They need a
That's
shower.
a very good point.
They definitely need a shower. Like, just place some instruments in the rain, wash off, maybe tilt your head back and drink a little water instead of soda. So Pop Top kind of sees her, but not, and then immediately rushes over to her and is like, well, you shouldn't be crying. And she's like, oh, I'm all alone. And he's like, well, no, like, you could be part of my fancy soda cult. And
And she joins up literally just so she can get out of the rain.
yes, just so she cannot be, like, you're already wet. You can't get
The worst
wetter,
reason to join a cult.
right?
Especially a cult that's then gonna blast you with soda.
I feel the fizz, Tom.
Also, I'm not that up on cult rules and stuff like that, but do you generally know you're in a cult and call yourself a cult?
No.
Because normally what would happen is, like, someone would have to explain to you, just like, hey, this isn't just like a group you're in. It's kind of a cult.
No, nowadays it's usually called Scientology.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there
So-
goes all our science.
So here's the.
Oh, no!
Damn it.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
Tom Cruise, no!
God damn, at least we still have Kitty Holmes.
I don't. Is she a Scientologist?
She
Not
left.
anymore.
She fucking left him. Because he's a crazy person. Because he's a Scientologist.
Didn't he like keep her locked up in his basement or
He
something?
tried
like
to
that? I don't
steal
know.
their child or some bullshit. He's a cuckoo.
I don't understand.
Allegedly,
He's a-
let's just throw allegedly out
I don't
there to cover
understand.
Allegedly, Tom Cruise is a giant piece of shit that tried to steal his own child away from Katie Holmes, and he gets constant kickbacks from allegedly the Scientology church, and allegedly they gave him a Porsche, and allegedly they've given him tens of thousands of dollars, and allegedly Tom Cruise is still a great actor.
I don't
Actually,
even know
no.
if I agree
no,
with that.
I mean, he's a pretty decent actor in
I
action
mean,
films.
for the most part, I've been lucky and I've avoided, I don't know, 90% of his work probably. I can't, like, there's some, like, staple movies he's in that, like, I just nope the fuck out of.
He's
Top
basically,
Gun.
the way that I look at it is like he's Keanu Reeves but worse. Whereas like he is typecast.
Whoa.
He's typecast into these action roles like Keanu Reeves has been as well. But Keanu Reeves to me is just way more enjoyable to watch, whereas Tom Cruise is just intense.
Yeah, and Keanu Reeves isn't a piece of shit.
Exactly.
Allegedly.
No,
Love
Keanu Reeves
Keanu
is
Reeves.
Keanu Reeves is a great fucking person, actually.
He's a national
and
treasure.
at the same
Yeah.
time, he's also a very lonely person because he actually doesn't have a family support structure or anything, and he's actually kind of said that he's lonely because once you're
Keanu Reeves, do you want to be on the podcast?
right, Keanu Reeves,
be your
We'll be
come
your
on.
family.
Like, we'll just hang out. We expect nothing. You don't even
Join
actually,
cartoon commentary. We're not a cult.
You know what, Keanu Reeves? You want to come on the podcast? You
Yeah.
don't even have to come on the podcast. You could just
Keith will make you bread.
You could just record 2 words and send it to us, and we'll just play that randomly throughout the podcast as if you're a part of the podcast.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No, just get the
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah, just that.
Oh,
And
I really.
and we will cherish that episode. And honestly, if you don't build that contract correctly, we're gonna use the whoa in every episode like a dozen times. So you better get your lawyers on that because we're gonna love it. We're gonna use it. It's a thing.
Yeah, and I would love to have him on the show. And you know what we should do? We should talk about movies that people normally don't talk about with him. Like the first thing I thought of was, do you ever see Parenthood?
Oh, I
I
saw
Robin,
Parent Trap.
not Steve
don't
Martin,
know if you have.
Rick Moranis,
No, I've never
the
heard of this
mother
movie.
from Edward Scissorhands, the Avon lady mother. I'm spacing on her real name, but she was. It's it's a really good movie. It's one of Keanu Reeves' early movies. I think he's like maybe a late teenager, maybe early 20s, somewhere around there. It's pretty good. You guys should check it out. But yeah. That
So,
I don't know. I was thinking about that movie earlier this week, and now that we're talking about Keanu Reeves, that would be on my list of things I want to talk to him about.
so I just want to throw this out here. Apparently, A Scanner Darkly, which is an animated film. I think there might be some live action pieces to it, but it's an animated film. Keanu Reeves is in that, so we could actually we could make this work. We could well, he doesn't want to watch himself. What am I thinking of? He doesn't want to watch himself.
No. If we're gonna watch something with him, we gotta. What what would we watch with him? Huh?
South Park, Ren and Stimpy. Let's just go like guttural America, because Keanu Reeves is such a great guy. Let's just go guttural America with it and just be like, Keanu Reeves, you're the nice guy in this. We're the bad guys. We get to go 3 bad cops to 1 good cop. No?
Oh. I wonder what kind of movies he likes to watch.
Oh, that's it. You know, Tom, the empath. The empath of the situation. You know what? Maybe having this guest on, we should ask his opinion. I'm like, let's watch something that makes him feel uncomfortable. And Tom's like, maybe we should get his opinion.
Just gonna be a good host, Keith. Speaking of being a good host, what happened?
No. So
in this
Tom,
episode?
Hold on.
You're not a good person then, Tom. You're just trying to play a role. I get it. It makes it makes more sense now, Tom.
As a good person, I want to be a good host.
Nope.
That's how it works, Keith.
It's already locked in.
Hold on, I just wanted to circle back and take another shit on Tom Cruise.
Please be my guest. He deserves it.
I just looked over this guy's filmography, and I've seen legitimately one of his movies. And that movie is good, not because of Tom Cruise.
What movie?
A Few Good Men.
That's a good movie.
I don't think I've actually even seen that.
It's really good. It's
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, but Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
It's basically the last 20 something minutes of the movie is what you want to watch, really. Just a really good movie, very quotable. And I'm scrolling through it, I'm expecting to see something else, and it's literally nothing else. There's movies that I've noped out of, The Last Samurai, Interview with a Vampire. I've never seen anything that's outside of a trailer of a Mission Impossible movie. Vanilla Sky looked like dog shit when I remember seeing the trailers. So yeah, Tom Cruise, completely skippable actor.
Tropic Thunder.
I've seen
Never seen that.
I've seen a bunch of the Mission Impossibles, and the only reason why I think they're good is because he does do a lot, if not all of his own stunts, which is kind of commendable. That's why I always like Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan, granted, martial artist, and Tom Cruise not, but Jackie Chan literally did all of his own stunts, and Jackie Chan even broke his leg in the filming of a movie.
He's done a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. But he was like, oh, give me Velcro pants, and still continued to do his own stunts with a cast on his leg.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's the phrase of oh, I do my own stunts. But if the stunts are fucking dangerous, then that's a little bit more commendable. And granted, the Tom Cruise stunts are totally controlled and supervised and whatever. But he has done the sliding down the glass of a building outside that's 300 feet up and shit like that, where it's yeah, you know what, there's safety harnesses, whatever.
Didn't
I
he
wouldn't
break the
want to
leg
fucking do
jumping
that.
from building to building?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like
Yeah.
he has done some crazy shit. So
By the
anyway,
way, where were we? Where were we at?
yeah, tangent to the extreme. We should get back to the episode. So Pop Top talks Gadget into basically joining the cult, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't like getting rained on, so anything else but this." And the rest of the rescue rangers actually show up with Myron at the cult because Myron shows back up and he's helping them out. So they travel to the cult hideout, and she actually gives up her tools. She loads it into the soda contraption that will like dip it into the orange crush deliciousness so it'll disappear because those are her possessions that she's giving up as part of the cult. And the gang and Myron hide in basically an emptied out can. The problem is that somebody comes by and shuts the door, malicious or not, and then they get lifted up and they get dropped also into the giant pail of soda. And it fills up. Monterey Jack is just loving his life because he's like, what are you guys complaining about? This is soda. It's delicious. And he's literally like drinking as much as he can.
Keith, how does he say that?
Crikey.
Crikey! Wow! Wow!
Goddamn. Perfect.
There you go.
Perfect.
So,
You would.
you won. So they actually go through a trap door in the bottom of the pail, and then they empty out and they basically find all of the stuff that everybody's ever given up to this cult, like in this like treasure room. And they're just absolutely floored. And then Gadget gets a soda shower.
She gets the saddest golden shower I've ever seen.
Oh.
I mean, it's an orange shower, but yeah, she stands under the spigot and Pop Top's like, "Hey, here we go," and just douses her
And
in
he
a bunch of
just
soda.
blasts her in the face.
And then she says like the lines of I don't know, whatever, like the I don't know, the fizziness is great. You drank, you ate too much asparagus. I don't know. So she's like not she's trying because she wants to be happy, but it's not making her happy, and she's basically like this is bogus. And she's not calling out Pop Top. She's just like it's not working. So she gets the soda shower. It's no use. The head guard basically like Pop Top's head guard, which is like this big beefy mouse. He basically takes
Bubbles.
her and Bubbles, and he puts her into the hidden room that has like all the stolen money. He like brings her to that room, and like all the rest of the gang, the rest of the rescue rangers are already there because they just got dunked and dropped out there.
Yeah, instead of just letting her leave and never come back and be an issue, he decides to take her to where he shows all the stolen goods and incriminate himself.
Yeah.
Because he's a great bad guy.
Yeah, I mean, he did let Pop Top run the whole thing for a while, so.
That's true.
And Pop Top's kind of a loony, but, you know.
It's creepy.
So Bubbles admits, just offhandedly, that he sabotaged the gyromobile. So Gadget gets a little bit vindicated through that. She's like, I am not a bad inventor. Only 2 out of the 3 things that I made fucked up.
Well, no, I think he mentioned that he, didn't he say something about sabotaging both things?
Yes.
Both vehicles?
Actually, he
did he?
did.
I can't remember what the
Yeah.
first one was called. The Rescue Mobile
Oh,
or
the
something
rescue
like
mobile?
that?
Yeah, or the Ranger
Yeah.
mobile. Yeah.
It was kind of weird. He did state it that way. That made it sound like he did it to both vehicles, but at the same time, it's like we didn't see it happen to the first one.
Yeah.
But we did know that the brakes fell off. She did mention that. Remember when the
That's true. They
show
did.
opened in? Yeah, I wonder
Yep.
if that was the sabotage.
Maybe.
Probably.
I mean, that makes a little bit more sense. I missed that. I thought that he only admitted to the gyromobile, and
Keith, the show is like watching a mystery,
It's-
and we're solving it.
I mean, it is
And they
tagged,
don't even realize they're in it.
it is
Yeah.
tagged as the category mystery and comedy, which are like the favorite tags of me.
Yeah, I mean, Scooby Doo's tagged that way, and that was kind of dog shit.
Well,
No pun intended.
but that's why but that's why we tried to watch it. So
Well done, Cory.
So Gadget gets vindicated through that, and then she's basically the only one that's able to hide, as the rest of them are captured and put into glass soda bottles. Which, by the way, there's no fucking way Monterey Jacks fit into that soda bottle that they put them in. I have no idea what kind of physics. Tom, explain the physics, Mr. PhD, of them fitting this mouse into that soda bottle.
Biologically, yes, he could do that. Mice and rats actually do have the ability to, basically, he could fit into anything his skull could fit through. Because
Okay,
the rest
well,
of their body can
you're-
contort.
You're a
and move
scientist,
around.
and I believe you.
Yes, and also I learned this from my grandmother, who was a biochemist. She told me male mice will, will. I don't know if I should say this on the podcast. You know what? I will, because we're watching cartoon mice. When they get angry and territorial and want to fight each other, like over mates or whatever, they will shove their testicles back up into their abdomen to protect themselves, so they don't get their balls ripped off during the fight.
You know, if I could have done that in middle school, I feel like I would have gotten
What?
a lot more fights.
Oh, I thought we were learning about a new kink.
No, I'm just saying, like, if I could have protected, like, surefire protected my balls, I would have been much less fearful to get
That's
into
true.
fights.
Yeah, well, that's the ability mice have, male mice. So the more you know.
No, that's actually like a really messed up thing to say, because it's not like that's an adaptation that was advantageous, because at some point there was mice that just got their testicles destroyed by other mice and could not procreate. So like if you couldn't suck them up into your abdomen, you weren't having babies.
Yeah, well, you figured that's their tax strategy. Another
God.
male's going to try to take out
God
his
damn.
rival. Like,
I mean,
really take him out.
That's how honey badgers take out water buffalo.
Damn!
Yeah, it's fucked up, right?
I
A
did
honey
not know
a
that.
honey badger can take out, as far as I know, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that I read that honey badgers will take out water buffalo because they'll go right for the nuts first. And it's like
Yeah.
it brings them to the ground, and then they have,
Yeah,
then they get the higher ground, like, Obi-Wan versus Anakin,
of course.
and then they push them into the lava and chop their arms off with lightsabers, and then, it's
Honey badgers are badass.
they're kind of like Obi-Wan, but they're also kind of like Anakin. Like they go for the higher ground like Obi-Wan, but they
But
murder
they get that
like
higher
Anakin.
ground by ripping off the balls of their opponent. Like
Yeah.
Anakin.
There you go.
Because he did that all the
Goddamn.
time.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the only reason why Obi-Wan beat him is because he didn't get to Obi-Wan's balls.
Yeah. And then he consequently lost his balls as they burned up in the fire.
They did.
Oh.
Tragically. I mean,
Yeah.
luckily, Padme was already pregnant at that point, so he didn't have to,
Yeah, but to him, he thought she was dead because he just choked her to death. But
True.
he didn't really.
I
but he
mean,
did.
she died after that out of...
I mean, yeah, he did kill her ultimately, but, he thought she was dead and the babies were dead. The baby was dead. He didn't know that there was two.
True.
Yeah.
I like how we're getting really superficially into the lore of the prequels of Star Wars when we should be wrapping up Rescue Rangers.
Hey, it's all Disney.
So at this point, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
So
So
anyway,
anyhow.
the gang. Goddamn. The gang's in these bottles, and they're like, "Man, we really wish we had one of Gadget's inventions to help us out." And like the rest of the episode, they're like, Gadget, why did this fucking rescue mobile or ranger mobile fall apart? Well, Gadget, why did the gyromobile fall apart? Like, what? Why are you ruining our lives constantly? Like they're berating
Gadget.
her.
Gadget,
And-
why are you so bad at your job?
Yeah, but now that they're about to die, they're just like, oh, please have an invention. And then, so Bubbles basically leads the cult meeting, puts the VHS in, and it's just like, oh, Pop Top's not here right now. Whatever, let's all dance and sing. And then sets up the gang. Apparently, all the other mice in the place are just so distracted by the
Yeah.
bathing in soda. They don't see him just like setting up the winch to drown these other mice in clear glass
Clear
bottles.
glass. Yeah.
Like,
They're completely oblivious to the murder going on right in front of them.
yeah. So I don't know. He sets that up. Nobody realizes it. Gadget, this badass bitch.
Whoa.
She storms in using a vehicle that is a combination of the Ranger Mobile and the Gyromobile. It is a skateboard with a gyro around it. The gyro has suction cups. It's got the hair dryer. It's got all the forms of like propulsion. It can go on ground. It can go up walls. It can do whatever the fuck she wants. She is like renewed in her inventing ability. So she shows up. She uses the vehicle. She comes out of the vehicle. She has a plunger crossbow and her magnetic device from earlier. She has basically somehow manufactured into a magnetic repellent of metal projectiles. I don't know how that really, because magnetism doesn't really work.
It's a cartoon.
Yeah, so it could work against similar polarized things, but not just metals. But anyway, it's badass. She comes out and the Bubbles basically throws Pop Top. Or no, he throws Pop Tops at her, like not Pop Top, the cult
A
leader.
bunch of mice that look like the old guy.
There you go.
Yeah.
He throws the like bottle caps at her, and she reflects them back at the correct angle to hit the bottles that her friends are trapped in, and literally sever the tops of the bottles off, setting them free. Except they're still hanging really high up in the air, so kind of good. She basically exposes all the stuff that they stole through like a hatchway in the floor, and all the cult members see, and they're like, oh, we were scammed. And then she opens a series of soda cans that blast the Bubbles, the guard leader, blasts him into the air sequentially until he lands into the big pail of soda, where we find out that he cannot swim. And then I was very disappointed that he did not drown, because apparently the next scene he's sitting there tied up, and they should have just, they should have just,
Yeah.
been like, well, oh, you can't, what? You can't blah, 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 blah? Don't know what that means. I mean, it is a children's cartoon. I guess they gotta, they can't just straight up snuff someone out. But that's basically it. Pop Top, the cult leader, who was actually like duped himself, but believed in the cult and was just a happy-go-lucky guy. He thanks the rescue rangers for helping. And scene.
Yeah. Well, he's like, the cult is over. And then Gadget's like, I'm back. And then it just cuts to black.
Yeah, it's a pretty abrupt ending right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very abrupt. So, let's get on with it, I guess. How many Pop Tops do you guys give this episode? 1 through 10, 10 being the best.
I would give it a 6.5. It wasn't exactly like I don't know. I enjoyed the episode. It wasn't the best representation of the cartoon from what I could remember. Um, I feel like there wasn't that much Chip and Dale in it, to be honest. It was mostly a gadget episode. Uh,
True. It was Gadget and it was Monterey Jack, um, which I don't know. I kind of liked. So, Tom, let me weigh in with you. Corey
Sure.
gave it a 6.5. What are you going to give?
Uh, I'm trying to think about it because I thought overall it was pretty solid storyline. It kept a good pace. There wasn't any really random, stupid crap. It was all pretty good. I thought it held up, compared to when I remember watching it from back then. I'm Yeah, it was a more of a Gadrick centric episode. Well, yeah, you really didn't hear much from Chip or Dale. They really didn't do much of anything this episode, so that was a little disappointing. Um, I don't blame the episode per se. I just if we watched like the first episode or a different one, we'd have more of them, and it wouldn't be an issue. So I feel bad judging the episode based on that, but. Yeah, I'll go with a 7.5. Pop tops.
All right. So, I kind of agree with Tom. I mean, so I agree in the instance that it was not very Chip or Dale centric.
Yeah.
And that, honestly, I kind of liked that about the episode, just from what I remember back in the day. Most episodes are Chip and Dale centric, so the fact that this one was not, um, it hit some funny tones with me, just with the fact that it was a cult based around a beverage, which this is kind of morbid, but it's like I believe it was the Jamestown cult that drank a bunch of like cyanide laced Kool-Aid. And I feel like this was a very like adult humor reference to
Yeah.
cults and beverages. It was literally a cult built around a beverage. Like, there's no way that they weren't basing it around that, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
kind of messed up, but at the same time,
Kids didn't know.
no, the kids didn't know. Like, the parents were like, holy shit. And the kids,
Yeah.
it was one of, in the day and age of this, 1989, 1990, you weren't getting that kind of interaction where you were also pulling the parents in possibly for like a hidden undertone. It's not like
Right.
like the Shrek movies where they had a bunch of like sexual innuendos and like parents were like, yeah, fuck, I'll watch Shrek because they're making dick jokes, and like the kids literally just don't get it. This was actually way more edgy than that. They're like, shit, we're making comparisons to like mass suicides based on Kool-Aid beverages,
Yeah.
and your kids
Yeah.
watching this like, this is like, I don't know, that to me it had this connotation where like, I'm sorry, but like maybe the writers had no idea about that, but I just can't believe that they wrote an episode about a cult that was based around a beverage and had no freaking knowledge about the Jamestown massacre. Like, come on. It was one of those things where I'm just like, they did it. They did it knowing that people that got it would just be like, holy shit. And people that didn't would just not. And I don't know. I'm going to give it a 7.5 as well, just because I actually, watching the episode, actually enjoyed watching the episode, and hit extreme disturbing undertones to it that I can't believe that they put in there. And I don't know. Let me know if I'm wrong. But like, listeners, let me know if I'm wrong. But I feel like this had these disturbing undertones that they were just like, yeah, this shit happens, but we're putting it in a children's TV show. Don't be part of a cult. Like,
Especially a soda cult.
yeah. I mean, at least do a diet soda cult. I mean, you know,
The fuck?
don't put on the
Wow.
all that extra sugar.
Well, I mean, in general, I don't think you want to be suggesting the kids to drink soda.
It's true. I went actually. So, I took my daughter to Mystic Aquarium last weekend, and because not to date ourselves, but like we wore masks the entire time because there was a sign out front that was like, "Oh, well, if you're vaccinated, then you don't have to wear masks, and if you're unvaccinated, if you're inside of a building or structure, you have to wear a mask." And I'm like, I don't trust anybody. So I'm going to wear a mask this whole time because, like, we're going to an aquarium that has hundreds or potentially thousands. Like, it's a big place, but probably thousands of people. And, like, I'm not going to not wear a mask when there's just shit tons of strangers around me and, like, people just, like, cough on you or whatever. So,
Could be worse. You could be surrounded by monkeys with deadly herpes.
that's true. Flinging poo at me. Like, but, I don't even know where I was going with that. I was just like, hey, I went to the aquarium and I wore a mask the whole time because people fucking suck. I don't know. What did Cory say before that? Goddamn.
I don't think I spoke before that, Keith.
No, he didn't.
No. I don't know what set me on that.
He was trying to pass the buck to you, Cory. He was trying to bail out of, I guess, what he was
Save
going to
me.
say.
He asked for the life preserver, and I was just like, no.
No, you just put your head on
There
the
was
top
something.
of his head.
When we listened to this in
I
post,
just- yeah.
I was on a.
I
was
just
on
put
a
my
tangent.
foot on his head.
Yeah.
I was coming up with a point there about, like, I don't know, safety, people being considerate, something along that.
Chippendale, Rescue Rangers.
Rescue Rangers, Chippendale.
Good shit.
I mean, we made it through the whole episode without mentioning the male burlesque group Chippendales, and I'm proud of us. I mean, we you knew it was going to come up at some point, and it's got to come up at the end
Yeah.
here. But
Okay.
I'm proud of us.
Yeah, I am too.
I was about to say we didn't make a single dick joke, but I'm pretty sure there's at least one in there somewhere. But not. It's unrelated to the male strippers Chippendale.
Which, again, if it was a more Chippendale-centric episode, I feel like the jokes would have been more readily coming out.
That's
But-
true.
Yeah.
Next time.
Next time.
There's plenty of cartoons out there. We can that was one episode out of like 60. We can always watch another,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We need one with
And that's
Fat Cat.
one of those things. Yeah, that's one of the things I have to keep reminding myself is like I keep thinking like, oh, we did this episode on this specific cartoon, and I'm thinking like, oh man, we're gonna run out of cartoons, and it's just like, no, the fuck, we're not. There's a million cartoons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not only is there a million cartoons, but like just because you watched one episode of one cartoon, like
Doesn't
6
mean you
months
can't
or
go
a year
back.
later, yeah, you're like, hey, you know what? We did this one episode. Let's go 2 seasons forward and look at this crazy shit. We have more than enough material to last our entire lives, and not only that,
Yeah.
but to
They're
be
still
honest,
coming out with cartoons.
well, exactly, and to be honest, we cannot stay on track topic wise. So
No.
I thought that was
I don't
the
even
point.
know. This is going to be the, a little inside baseball here, but this is going to be the hardest to edit podcast just because I don't know what I should keep in. I don't know what I should take out. Maybe I leave it all in. Maybe I take it all out, and it's a 50-minute podcast. Who knows?
50-minute. We're over 2
Well, we were-
hours.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot to take out.
You know what we should probably do? Cory,
What's that?
you want to lead us out?
Oh, yeah. We'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to listen to three guys ramble about cartoons, religion, Tom Cruise, many things. If you'd like to ramble about our ramblings or what we rambled about, you can join the Cartoon Commentary Podcast group on Facebook. If you have any questions, comments, or corrections for us, which I'm sure there are plenty for this one, you can reach us at cartooncommentarypodcast@gmail.com. And until all are one, I've been Cory.
I've been Tom.
I'm supposedly Keith.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Dick. I don't know, like, my parents were decent people, and they raised me to, like, treat people decently. Like, part of the downfall of that was, like, I was, and still am, too gullible at points. And, like, I've helped people that didn't fucking need help. Like, goddamn. I don't understand why that's so funny.
Tommy's become self-aware.
Oh no.
Did I help Tom too much? What happened?
Well, no. How you always are falling for the shit Tom leads you
Oh
into.
yeah, no, exactly.